So throughout human history and across many cultures, people have regarded owls with fascination and awe. Few other creatures have so many different and contradictory beliefs about them. They say the earliest human representations of owls date from the Upper Paleolithic, 13,000 years ago, or 13,000 years BC. And they were found in France, the cave paintings, and they seem to depict snowy owls and probably long-eared owls. And other prehistoric owl art has been found in Australia, the Americas, the Mayan culture, and Guatemala. The wise old owl is associated with many forms of the crone goddess, embodied wisdom and morality. Female goddesses associated with the wise owl are Lilith, Athena, Minerva, Anath, and Marie. And another reason owls were so fascinating to our ancestors is their 6 superpowers. Number one is their superpowered gift of sight, and the unique structure of an owl's eye gives it excellent vision. Owls have large eyeballs that are fixed in the eye socket. Plus the eyes are forward facing, unlike most birds of prey, and they have eyes on either side of the head, which gives them sort of binocular vision and allows for greater depth perception when an owl is stalking its prey. And the second superpower, you could say, is amazing night vision. Most owls are nocturnal, meaning that they're active at night, and use the darkness for cover in hunting prey. But unlike bats, they don't use echolocation. Instead, owls rely on their binocular vision for depth perception and night vision. And the owl's large eyes are not true eyeballs. Instead of being round, their eyes are tubular shaped, providing excellent night vision. The third superpower could be their precision hearing. The owl's highly developed hearing abilities come from its round, concave ears around the eyes, and its asymmetrically placed ears on either side of their head. The owl's facial feathers form discs similar to a satellite dish around each of the owl's eyes, which makes them so distinctive. And this unique feather structure focuses and directs sound to the ear opening on each side of the head. And the asymmetrical hearing allows the owl to locate prey with greater accuracy. Another superpower that the owl has is silent flight. And this superpower is one that separates them from other predators. The ability to soar silently through the night sky, seeing and hearing any movement of its prey below. Now, this nearly silent flight is achieved because the owl's flight feathers reduce air turbulence and thus reduce sound. One disadvantage of this is the sound dampening qualities of the feathers is that they do not work when wet, so the owl struggles hunting in the rain. The fifth superpower is that owls can see in any direction. Their heads can turn 270 degrees. It does look like owls can rotate their heads 360 degrees, but in reality they can rotate it 270, which is really quite incredible. Now, this is because owls have twice the number of neck vertebrae as humans. I think they've got 14 to our 7. And the extra vertebrae allow the owl to rotate and twist its head to look around the environment and track prey. And the last superpower, I think, is camouflage. It's hard to spot an owl in the woods unless it gives itself away by letting out a hoot. Now, these masters of camouflage have plumage that is coloured to blend in with their environment, making them nearly invisible, like the snow owl in white feathers in the snow. And it may be that the owl's supernatural eyesight is why they are symbols of wisdom and insight, which it makes sense. Although most owls are largely solitary creatures and don't roost communally, a group of owls is called a parliament. That don't seem to fit with wisdom of the owl, does it? You can imagine having this kind of vision and be able to see in nearly every direction. This will give the owl a view of life that is what we can't imagine. And the owl is an exceptionally skilled hunter. And that's due to another uncanny ability the owl possesses, and that's of having a very vivid memory. It seems it's able to create a mental map of its territory, which enables them to fly safely and take advantage of the nighttime world and then find their way home. Now, owls have both been feared and venerated, despised and admired, considered wise and foolish, and associated with witchcraft and medicine, the weather, birth and death. Speculations about owls seem to begin in earliest folklore, too long ago to date. They were passed down by word of mouth over generations. And in English literature, the barn owl has a sinister reputation, probably because it was a bird of darkness, and darkness was always associated with death. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the barn owl was their favourite bird of doom. But J.K. Rowling has done a lot to lift the image of the owl from its doom and gloom status in the Harry Potter novels. Now, the owl, represented as a spirit animal, represents a free thinker, the oddball and the archetypal entrepreneur, as owls see what others do not. They have unusual skills and can cause jealousy in others. Yet they hold true to their ideas and visions despite the negativity and harassment from naysayers. Now, if the owl is your spirit guide, you must remember to stay true to your ideas, even if the crowd is sceptical or downright mean. If the mob makes fun of you, your ideas, or your differences, and treats you like an outcast, don't let them ruffle your feathers. As Mark Twain once said, everyone with an idea is a crank until the idea succeeds. Stay true to yourself. In England, the barn owl has often been used to predict the weather. A screeching owl meant cold weather or a storm was coming, and if heard during foul weather, a change in the weather was at hand. Another traditional English belief, which doesn't say a lot for English intelligence, if you walk round and round an owl in a tree, it will turn and turn its head to watch you until it wrung its own neck. I did read something that people thought that barn owl's breath may glow in the dark, and coupled with its silent flight could account for some UFO sightings. Well, I'm not too sure about that one. But another theory is that the glowing comes from the body and it's due to luminous mould or fungi brushing off onto its plumage. Among very early English folklore cures, there was one for alcoholism which was treated with raw owl eggs. And if you give raw eggs to a child, the treatment was thought to gain lifetime protection against drunkenness. I'm glad I wasn't fed them when I was young. And owl eggs cooked until they turned to ash were also used as a potion to improve eyesight. And owl broth was given to children suffering from whooping cough. Also believed to be a cure for epilepsy and madness. Now, the Welsh have a lot of folklore regarding owls, and they call it the corpse bird. And in Celtic mythology, the owl was a sign of the underworld, and its cry is said to be a signal of approaching death and misfortune. And it was often called the night hag or corpse bird, and folk would only discuss the bird with hushed tones for fear of attracting darker forces. It is unquestionably a creature of the dark, but beautiful, wise, nearly always female in folklore. The owl is one to respect, and folk would take care not to talk ill of her. Sometimes she is seen as the bird of Gwyn ap Nudd, the king of the fairies. With death there comes a new beginning, so the owl is also a symbol of renewal, moon magic and reincarnation. Now, the Celtic goddess of fertility, rebirth and fate, Arianrhod, is said to have shape-shifted into an owl, where she could see deep into the human subconscious and soul. And apparently up until the 1950s, Welsh farmers would nail a dead owl to the barn door to ward against evil. And supposed to ward off storms as well. Probably until they were protected. In yet another Welsh folk story legend, it was said that in the 19th century in Cwmcarven, an extraordinarily large white owl was often spotted over an ancient battlefield, leading inhabitants to believe the bird was magical and should never be disturbed. But one day, a visitor to Raglan Castle, probably an Englishman, mocked the story and slaughtered the owl, only to die a few hours later choking to death at a dinner table. It's also said if you see an owl in your dreams, it is said to bring you a message of enlightenment, so pay attention. Owls can see what others cannot and are essence of true wisdom. Now I think there are 5 species of owl in Wales. There's a barn owl, the little owl, short-eared owl, the tawny owl, and then you've got the long-eared owls only found in North Wales. And have you ever been in a graveyard late at night and heard the screeching sound? That'll be the barn owl that hunts at night and loves high church towers where it's away from other predators. In Australia, the owl is the aboriginal messenger of the evil god Murup, who eats children and kills people. Nice. And in Mayan myths, the owl is Langsuya, a ghost or flying demoness. And in Hebrew law, the owl represents blindness, so I'm surprised with them eyes, and desolation, and is considered unclean. And in Zoroastrianism, the ancient Persian religion, it is a bird that frightens away demons. So many contrasting views. Now, sadly, due to the destruction of habitat and the use of pesticides, many of these stunning creatures are struggling to survive. And I've often heard the advice that if you find a baby owl in the springtime, leave it alone. It's the best chance of its survival. But if you do want to help an injured or orphan owl, contact the Owl Trust. They've got trained specialists to advise and rehabilitate them.